How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
Hello, and welcome all to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am the host for this week. I am Ben, aka Sly of House McLean. Tonight's episode is Mama and Papa, it's supper time. We're recording this on 7/28/2018. We're talking about Season 4, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones. Episode title is Breaker of Chains. Joining me, as always, is Glenn of House Dog.
Hooty hoo.
Lucan of House Blackmead.
Hello, people.
And Abby, a.k.a. Gertie of House Condescension.
Hey!
I tried. Okay, I tried. All right, what are we all drinking tonight?
Beer. King of beers. Budweiser.
Got the
That's what I
king.
got in my hand.
I got some New Belgian Fat Tire tonight.
Fat tier.
Fat Tire. Ab, are you
I got,
rocking
Yep, Duplin, Black River Red.
Have we messaged them yet? I mean, I feel like
Multiple
you should be sole
times.
sourced at this
I
point.
even tried to get into their dinner show that's sold out. They won't allow me to come to the place. I don't know why.
I think they think you're some kind of groupie.
The
They're
number
like,
one fan.
I don't know. It's a little weird at this point.
And like, she won't try any other wines of ours. She just only the one. I don't know.
You're the worst.
So,
I am.
before we move on, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our live chat watchers. We got OTDA, Bailey Riddle hanging out, and I believe the Podfather and the Mother of Drunkards watching as well. So, welcome all. Feel free to talk in the chat with us. Now, Abby's in our chat room as well tonight, so no spoilers. Got to keep it clean for her. So, all right, moving on. Are we... Okay, then...
We're not moving on.
well, no,
We are moving on.
We are moving
Further.
on. I just noticed an edit there. So our show is produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Now, Glenn, on to the news. Anything new going on with the show?
Not really anything cool or anything, but I found an article on IGN with the HBO programming chief, Casey Bloys, and basically he says episodes in Season 8 will not be 2 hours long, according to his knowledge. He also thinks that the first season trailer will launch in 2018, but he has not been specifically told when it will drop. And then also I think he said the Season 8 will be sometime in the first half of 2019.
Really narrowed it down for us.
Right.
I thought we've already heard that it's going to be April. That was weird to me.
There's never been anything confirmed. We've always speculated
Well, the
because
first half of the year is
anywhere
I
from
mean, April
January.
fits into that.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I thought that they
That
had
window.
released at some point, but
same.
No. He said the first half of the Super Bowl.
that's what it was. It's gonna be the halftime show. They're gonna we're gonna directly compete with the Super Bowl for ratings. That's a great choice.
Sadly, they probably would win. I mean, it'd be a close.
I feel like they would probably
Well,
take a pretty big
I
chunk.
don't know.
They would take a chunk out of
take
the
a
Super
chunk.
Bowl.
I mean, they
for sure.
they get 20 million
Take chunk from the Goonies
a
out of
week.
it.
They get 20 million, watchers a week, which is unheard of for an HBO.
150.
Yeah, but still, taking 20 million from football, that's impressive.
It depends who's in the game, I guess.
That's true.
If it's a goddamn Patriots.
Again. All right.
I love we have no Patriot love here. Nobody was like, hey, glad nothing. We all just kind of like chuckled politely.
And if someone in the chat appreciates the Patriots, please leave. No, I actually don't care at all.
Yeah.
Quite literally
They'll
don't care.
probably be in there, so.
More than likely.
More power to them. They've done it for a long time.
Well, when you break the rules to get there, it
Thanks,
works.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh,
Brady.
Lord.
But-
Different podcast.
Anyway, I really don't give a crap about football. I'm going with the South Park
London Silly
reference.
Nannies.
But London Silly Nannies. All right, so
Shaboopy.
we're going to move on with the episode. We got our previous episode recap, and that is Glenn again.
Oh, me again. Cool. So, previous episode recap. Ramsay takes the girls on a little stroll. Roose meets the Reek. Jamie is learning to become a switch hitter. Hashtag Shea Stadium. Not going to be working here much longer.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Stannis burns his brother-in-law. The Red Woman meets with Shireen. Many personalities clash at the royal wedding. Another giant baby pussy bites the dust. Pandemonium sets in the capital.
That's fair. That sounds about what happened.
About right.
Yeah. So, all right. Again, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 3. The episode duration was 58 minutes long. It first aired on 4/20/2014. Directed by Alex Graves. It was written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Abby got the episode description.
Yes. Tyrion ponders his options. Tywin extends an olive branch. Jon proposes a bold plan. The Hound teaches Arya the way things are.
Okay.
The way things are.
We'll see if that is accurate.
You guys remember that in Babe? You ever see Babe?
Mhm.
When like the three mouse are like, introducing the next scene or whatever. Like one of them was called The Way Things Are.
That's awesome. I don't remember that specifically, but it seems to fit.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
So
basically
really quick, you
the
guys
pig.
keep talking about this, but chat, give me an option between 1, 2, and 3 really quick. Somebody in chat just called it out 1, 2, or 3. So go on with your conversation.
Oh no! Basically, I was just gonna say this is when Babe was trying to fit in at the farm.
One Bay.
Beyonce.
Bay the pig.
I said Babe.
I know. It sounded like you said Bay, which is
The Bay of Pigs invasion.
Bay of
Trying to
Pigs.
fit in.
Thank you, Alicia.
the Bay of Pigs.
All right.
So she just picked your question for you?
She just picked my question for me. I had a few, and so I had to go with it. So, if we're ready, we're going to move on to our Quill and Tankard pub trivia. The points standing as of right now, I believe.
It's not updated.
Well, I know, but I believe you have 2 points, and none of us have any
I got
others.
1.
Oh, okay, 1 and 1. So, 1 and 1. That's correct.
I think I do have 2 because I got both Glenn and I got the one right last
I
episode.
He
yes,
asked the
I
question.
Oh,
start-
he's stumped. We both have had
I
stumpers.
stumped.
You both stumped. Yeah.
Stumpers.
Yeah.
Stumpers.
I was
So-
been writing down the questions.
We
so,
both quiplashed everyone.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
so, AK, I
2-1.
wish you would have picked one of the other ones because it's
Oh,
kind of the
come
easiest.
on, AK.
But
Jeez.
that's all right.
Monkey.
Be better next time, AK.
Tywin has a conversation with Tommen about good kings, smart kings, holy kings. Who was the just king?
Thumbs up when you're ready.
I did my weird thumb.
Abby, are you ready?
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink
What the hell?
and I know things.
Wrong button, Luke. All right. In 3, 2, 1, hit enter. Okay, the answers from Glenn, Oris. From Luke, Oris. From Abby, not the Wisdom King.
That's right.
Luke and Glenn
True.
are correct. And Abby technically is correct as well. But, yep, so
Yeah.
2 points, or 1 point each to Luke and Glenn.
Shoot.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to. My other 2 would have been easy stumpers, but
Can we
have
go
time,
ahead and
or-
hear him?
sure. What are the 3 houses that don't have enough money to raid a pantry?
Oh, that's a good one.
Musgrave, Hay, and the third one was Peasbury.
Pillsbury,
It's Peasbury.
What'd you say the first one?
the Doughboy.
Musgood.
Mustgood? Musgood?
Musgood.
Mustgood. Okay, yeah. You said something a little different. You said like
Maybe I said Musgrave.
You said Musgrave. That's what. But you got
That's a
Musgood. Yeah.
common name.
Alex Graves.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
then, what new book does Shireen give Davos? I need the actual title.
I got this one too. I was ready for him. The Life and Adventures of Elio Grivas, the First Sword of Bravos.
Thank you very much.
I was ready.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So you had them picked. All right. Fair enough.
There weren't many in this one where
Yeah. So yeah.
I would have gotten them all wrong, so there's fair.
All right. So we're gonna start with the episode. We go have the opening credits. Peter Dinklage has the title again. King's Landing, Dragonstone, Dreadfort, Winterfell, The Wall, and Marine. Nothing new on this. Everything's pretty much the same.
Still looks good.
Still looks good.
Same song.
All right.
A minute 58 before we get to the show. So.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so we're in King's Landing. We start with GBP, Cersei, Tyrion, Tywin, Sansa, Dantos, and Microfinger. Cersei cuddles her giant Cersei cuddles her purple GBP.
Giant
GBP. Tyrion is
That is so
seized.
messed up.
Tywin bars the gates, and Sansa is reunited with an old family friend. I'll start with Abby.
I think this is the first time, at least Tywin allows people to see his anger. Like he
in
looks
public?
mad.
Like in public?
Yes. And maybe not even, because even when he's talking with his kids and he like raises his voice, everything is always seems calculated or to make his point. Like he gets loud to make his point, where this was, he seemed mad, but I don't know if I believe that he cares if Joffrey died or not. Other
Okay,
than
so
it
it's
looks
almost-
bad
almost-
for his family.
I wonder if, since it is public,
he's-
he's putting on a show. Of
That's
that.
what-
He's been mad before whenever they had Jamie.
Yeah,
They captured
that's
him.
my son. That's the one.
They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
son.
you're right.
That
You're
was the
right.
scene that I was thinking of as well, because I was like,
Mhm.
he's
Yeah.
definitely
I
more
mean-
than raised his voice before.
Yeah, I'll agree that
Yeah.
he usually isn't
Pretty
doesn't
well
get mad.
composed.
Yeah, but
But
Every
yeah, I
now and
wondered if
then.
he was just putting on a front for, because everybody's watching, bar the gates, you know. And then we see him later on, so I don't know. He's a calculating person.
Luke?
calculation.
My note kind of comes towards the very end of this scene, and Glenn hates when I go out of turn, but I got picked. So it seems like Microfinger is kind of partially framing Sansa here a bit, right? To make sure that she can't just like back out at this point. Is anyone
Or at
else
least
get that
making her
feel?
think she...
Right,
she's
kind of
gonna be-
guilting her into, well, this is where we're at, and
Yeah.
it looks pretty bad for you right now, leaving at this time,
Yeah.
which I picked for you, but no one's going to care because it looks like you might be involved. So it's real interesting
You
the way
did
he
it,
played
but
that.
Yeah.
Right,
you didn't.
and he could say that she was wearing the weapon,
Yeah.
right? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
so it...
Well, he
there's a
could,
lot
but
of
then
signs
at the same
pointing
time, she sees him destroy it. So now the evidence
I
is
have
gone.
So many questions about this.
All right. Well, we're going to circle
Yeah, no,
back to
you're
it.
fine.
We're going to go
Yes.
with Glenn's because I did not read the notes in, so I should have got his.
I just think one hell of a barring the gates and seizing all the ships. It just seemed like he says that, and then Sansa like gets away, and I don't think he sees like one guard or anything or anybody like really being proactive about doing anything. I don't
No,
know.
and she's also in like a full dress. Like she cannot be that fast. You have to imagine she has fancy shoes on. She's
Right.
faster than your knights.
But you figure there's, officially 7 gates around King's Landing, and Dantos knows his path. He already has this planned out of this is the route we're going to take to get the hell out of here. And and Dantos is quick for a fat guy, He's got that Ben Hanscom deceitfully quick fat guy ness going.
Fast fat guy.
Yeah, he's quick. He's not fast. But
Let's just take a minute to appreciate the fact that Sansa actually left with somebody.
yes,
I don't even. I mean, like
he
this
did
has been
now.
since season 1. Sansa leave.
But he's the first one to do the tropey. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah.
No, he's not, because the Hound did that.
No.
He's like, he did the same thing.
But he didn't say. He's like, come with me. I will protect you and all this. But like Dantos basically says,
Yeah.
come with me if you want. Basically, you want to get. It's and she realized at this point. Okay, well, shit. Get out of here.
Only took, like 4 fucking seasons. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, way to go.
Right. My note of the scene was I liked Microfinger's little line there because he was a drunk and a fool, and I don't trust drunk fools. Money buys a man silence for a time, but a bullet to the heart silences him forever. And I want to say this is probably accent number 4, or is it number 5 for Microfinger? I forgot to start counting of who he's talking to, but this was an obvious new variation.
I think this is the one that I'm most familiar with.
Is it? Okay.
Because so I didn't really.
You wouldn't last one day out in the Scrooge.
This is the one that when Glenn or I are speaking in Microfinger voice, this is the one. So this is what just feels so natural.
Yeah, gotcha. Aiden Gillen, love the actor, and he does a good job on this.
You
It's
wouldn't
just
last one day out the Scrooge.
And if you don't mind jumping later on, we have an Arya scene with the Hound, and Arya is like displeased with something he does because she feels like it's not honorable. And I feel like Sansa shows here exactly the same thing. Like, why kill him? And yes, he could go talk or whatever, but he helped me and he helped us. You know,
Yes, it's not
just
just
a very
Money talks.
Yeah, but he served his
Yes.
purpose. Yeah,
I know,
it's-
but that's just the Stark in both of them, even though they're so starkly different.
They're just
Womp.
they're really netting out.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Anything else on this scene? Did you, Abby? You said you had a couple questions, or so many questions.
Okay, so the necklace was the poison that was put in the cup,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The beautiful necklace of House Holler. That is apparently not.
Not the question.
Not an heirloom.
not the trivia
Cute.
question.
No, it's not.
Oh,
the
gosh.
house. He had it made
A couple weeks
as a
before.
big
2 weeks
cruise,
ago.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you could ask me that. It was 2 weeks ago. I would have known that one. But how did the necklace poison get into the wine that only Joffrey
Good
drank?
question. Let's move
She
along.
wasn't.
I'm kidding.
No, but
It is a good question.
that was a good
It's a
question.
great
Because it's
question.
not. It's hard to tell.
Okay, sure.
It's hard to tell.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. It'll be a prediction, I guess. What I think happened. Maybe.
Perfect. That'd be
Okay.
a good prediction.
Good job.
Maybe.
All right. So next scene, we're moving to Marjorie and Olenna. Death and marriages are discussed. Aren't they about one and the same thing?
Death and marriages.
Depending on who you're married to.
Right. So Glenn, I'll let you start on this one.
Yeah, I think Marjorie is basically just saying like, "Hey, I'm cursed at this point because, this is the second time that I've, either married or been married to someone and they've bit the dust or whatever."
Yeah.
So
The first one I
Yeah,
married was
I
a
know.
known pillow biter. The second one was only happy when
Like
he was
the
cruel to
torture
animals
animals or whatever.
You know,
yeah, so she knows how to pick them.
right? Wonder
but
who number 3 is going to be.
third time's a charm.
Oh, okay. That's prediction number 2. There we go. All right.
All right, Abby, what do you got a note on this?
Well, I believe this is where Lady Olenna, I'm trying to read through these notes real quick so I don't steal anybody's, but she says to him, like, you're happier watching him die than you would have been married to him.
Yeah.
Oh, man. She just, nail right on the head. She's a wise old lady, you
Oh,
know, and I think your note, Benj, has more what I have to say about this, so I'll let you take it.
Gotcha. Yeah, mine basically goes into hearing about her husband's death was actually kind of sweet. You can tell she didn't love him in the traditional sense, but after such a long companionship, it definitely was a loss for her. She ended up, caring for him, and yeah, he was the one she suffered. She suffered to have his children and be in bed with him, and he was a oaf just like her son is, but she still cared
It
about
didn't
him.
sound like he was cruel at all. To her.
No,
I mean,
he was good to her.
even if he didn't love her, he was at least not
Yeah.
evil to
And
her.
here's the
like
thing:
we see a lot.
there
of
was
times.
no contemplate or no indication that he didn't love her.
Mhm.
She just didn't, feel that way about him. But after such a long time, because I think she doesn't say how, but it was years upon years. I think he died in older age as well. So when you
Up
lose
until sorry,
No,
Benji, I
go
didn't
ahead.
cut you off.
no,
Up until this point, I thought that Sansa and Tyrion could have that type of relationship
Right.
where she looks back and thinks hypothetically about Tyrion dying in old age or whatever and being like, yeah, like I looked at his body, like laying there, and there was like feelings, but not, we didn't love each other, but we did this life together. And he was kind of my partner, maybe not the love of my life, but respect. So I got that same feeling from this. Except this is the guy that she said ran off the mountain because he didn't see it in the horse, right? Isn't that what happened when he died?
Oh yeah. We were thinking the mountain that rides. I
Sorry,
think
no,
that's what I thought of.
No,
Like,
I
like
just I
literally
couldn't
ran
remember.
off a cliff.
It sounded familiar, but I
Yeah.
yeah.
That's at least what she says.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
says
who
like
knows?
how kind of he was dumb, but
Was anybody
a
there?
lovable dumb man, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, and
Likeable.
kind of along with that is, I feel like they, even if they weren't, in love, they had a sense of companionship over that much
Yeah.
time where you're working together with somebody. They have a certain affinity, in your heart for them, and it's just what happens over time. So it's very realistic and
Go ahead,
pretty well
Kieran.
said. My note here is, that she kind of talks about our alliance with the Lannisters remains just as necessary for them and is just as unpleasant for us as ever. Because this is where Marjorie's like, well, I was going to be queen. And Olenna's like, well, that's likely not going to change because of Joffrey dying. Like, they still need us entirely. And Yeah, no, it's just funny the way she put that. It's still
next
as
man up.
as unpleasant for us as always.
Exactly. So, anybody got anything else on Marjorie and Olenna?
No.
Okay.
Nope, good scene.
No.
Good. Yes. So we are going to stay in King's Landing with Tommen, Cersei, Tywin, Jaime, and GBP. This GBP takes a long nap. Tywin gives a lesson on what makes a good king. Jaime and Cersei mourn the loss in an uncomfortable way. I'm going to start with mine. Come along, grandson. I will explain to you the way to further the line. It's like, that's kind of it's like he's 12 in the show. I think they've aged him up 12, 13 maybe in the show wise, but still 12, 13-year-old. I mean, Tywin is the right guy to do it, because he can do it very pragmatically, but still you're Tywin's an innocent, sweet boy. That's what always how he's been portrayed. So
Right.
You're getting the birds and bees from Grandpa Dance here,
I mean, technically, his dad is deceased. So.
True.
Legally, his dad is deceased. Technically, he just walked right past him while that conversation was happening.
Yeah. And
Oh, did you like that Jamie looks at him and says, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And he said, you will be. Like, I thought it was nice. I get it's this weird, messed up thing. But I don't know. Jamie, like I said, all these characters are like switching sides on me here. And I'm looking for those better points of Jamie. I thought it was nice that he
Great.
extended.
We'll open that can of worms here
So-
real quick. But
yeah,
on sorry, Abby, I went on Benji's note there. Like Tywin is legitimately like the only person that can talk to him about this at this point, right? I mean, because he's one hand of the king,
Yeah.
that's the future king, so he has to know this regardless of how old he is.
yeah.
And two, his real father can't do it because that would kind of sell him out. Like, you gotta go, oh, Uncle Jamie, can you tell me about,
because
these
he's been in the Kingsguard since he was 16, technically not supposed to.
know.
Yeah.
And three, Robert's dead.
Yeah.
So hey, this is on your shoulders now. You have to know what this is involved in. And I thought it was maybe interesting to start that conversation in front of his mom.
Yeah. But I think that was Tywin's way too of saying, I'm in control.
And we're moving past this.
Yeah,
You grieve however you want, Cersei, but
Right.
we have to keep this.
He's got to step up
this
to the
kingdom
plate.
rolling.
yeah,
at this
exactly.
point.
Glenn, go ahead with your
And,
note.
yeah, like Cersei mentions it, and I agree with a lot of it. This is hardly the place or the time. Like both talking about shit kings in front of a shit king as he's just laying there. I just think like somebody dies, like give them the respect, like, and then talk elsewhere about shit like that. And then later in the scene when Jaime's jamming it into Cersei in front of the shit king, like again, that's not something you would want to do in front of somebody that just died.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of respect for them.
Yeah, I gotta go. Since you brought it up, I have to put it in my. No matter how many times I see the scene, this portrayal of this, love scene, whatever, pisses me so fucking off because it's a rape. Any way you look at it, any way it's played out.
Let's ask it around the table.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait.
Talking Jamie, Cersei. What did you think?
I wouldn't. You said it was like a love scene, so I'm guessing just from this conversation we're having that in the book this is portrayed very differently, possibly, or maybe it's not
How
in the book.
did you feel watching
It was a
this?
rape. Like she says no, and he just
I don't care.
doesn't stop.
I don't care.
and
I don't care. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
More than
Well,
that,
there was
like-
only one I don't care.
Oh, there were
I-
3 or 4. The
Yeah,
captions
there was-
were on.
Oh, okay.
There were many.
Between 1 and
Stop.
4, I don't care.
Yeah, and definitely,
And
accurate.
many stops don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This
yeah.
is not right.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe she's
Not
not,
like
like
this.
slapping him or whatever, which not that they're married, but they've had this type of, we saw before where she was like, oh, Jamie, don't. And then he did. And then,
Yeah.
it became okay. But still, this was very much,
Yeah.
horrible for
And-
Cersei in that moment. And just the disrespect for her son too their son.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're right in the line of, yes, this is a scene that happened in the books a bit differently. Quite a bit differently.
Okay.
It starts very similar.
Yes.
It does start. I mean, it starts
But
almost exactly
you
the
have
same.
the inner monologue, at least,
Right.
of the characters, too.
And I think the only thing that you can try to justify watching this is her body language. Like Abby said, she's not fighting him off. I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. Her words
No.
were absolutely saying, absolutely know.
And that
But like her body language, I think is trying to portray that. I guess
And
I'm not
her
buying
inner
it.
monologue.
And I'm
of-
not buying
Yeah.
it. And
right.
I think my biggest issue is because David and Dan wrote this episode. They even came out like that week because there was a lot of blowback during when this first aired. They're like, "How the hell do you do that? Like that wasn't rape. That was."
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
this was a
dude,
PR
you at least
botched.
own it. That hey, we did this. It appears this way, and unfortunately, we don't have the inner monologue to
Our intention was for you to be able to physically see her
the
like
accepting and all this.
yeah, like
but
yes.
there, that really wasn't there. And sorry, you dropped
Well,
the ball
it was
on
real
this.
short. Not that I want that to be extended, but how much can you do in a 20-second like
True.
time span?
I mean, at the very end of it,
I
if
don't
she
know.
was saying
That's all it
yes,
takes.
I think that changes
Yes.
the whole scene from
Yeah.
playful, or her kind of
yes.
Like the hard to get.
No,
kind
we
of-
shouldn't. We shouldn't. We
right.
shouldn't.
And
then
I think just that one little like concession towards her
Yeah.
accepting it and then going through with it at that point would have changed a lot of it. I'm not saying it's still
The
right,
perception.
but it
Right.
would
Just
it could have helped for this already pretty fucked up
Yeah.
relationship they have.
Yeah,
So
like
Yeah.
just I missed you, or something along those lines. Yeah, but this scene right here,
I have the gods made me love such a hateful
woman.
bitch.
Yeah,
And like,
Mhm.
look, I don't think Cersei can really do anything. Like, she can't blow the whistle or anything like that because that's gonna.
Who's she
open
gonna
up
tell?
Another...
Her dad?
Yeah.
Right.
At this
Dad.
point? Hey, Dad,
Me and
my brother
bro.
raped me in front of
Right.
our dead son.
right.
That's not a conversation anyone wants to.
no. So
Probably
all
not.
right, moving on from there. Abby, did we get to your note? You have a little note earlier in the scene.
I just said I really liked that. My thought was I really liked that he let Tommen work through it. Like he didn't just give him that answer. Like none of them are wise. You need to be a wise king. That this is what I want from you. But he
Wisdom.
let
Yeah.
Tommen come to that conclusion on his own.
Yeah. Now, do you remember
And-
the three before? I did mention one.
I know there was a strong king, and that was Robert.
Yep.
And there was a wise king,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a just king.
No.
There was a starving king.
Well, no. There
Oh,
was
a
a
starving-
holy king. It was
Oh, a holy.
Oh, they talk about
Okay.
Baylor.
Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor the
They
Blessed.
talked about Ares too, the starving
Mhm.
king, because he starved himself to death.
Yes.
Those were the three that they talked about.
No, Baylor starved himself because food was of this world, and this world
that's
is
true. They did talk about Ares for a second, though. I
Nope.
thought.
no Ares. It was
No,
Ores.
Robert.
It was Balon, Ores.
Who I don't think Ares is a real
No,
Or is the
it's
first.
not.
Targaryen king, which is
Okay.
weird because like in like the good king Jaehaerys,
Yeah.
just use that name. Like just it's there.
Yeah. But it was Balon the Blessed, Ores the First, and Robert the First. Robert
Big
Baratheon.
Bobby B.
And then, and the whole points were Balon, he starved himself to death because food was of this world and this world was unholy. Ores was killed by his brother in his sleep only a month and a half after, or a year and a half after he took the throne, and Robert Horde hunted and drunk himself through his kingdom, and the last two is what killed him. And Tywin calls that out to Tommen,
His dad
yeah,
with his
basi-
dead brother sitting there.
Yeah.
and his
Exactly.
mother.
Your brother
Yes.
was a shitty king. Your brother
yeah,
was not
your
a
brother
good
was
king.
not a wise king. Your brother.
You guys, like, I feel like there's so much Tywin hate here. I just see this scene.
Oh
and
no
I know
no
it's
no no
because-
no!
I love Tywin
This-
here.
yeah,
That's
this is-
exactly where my note early
Okay.
is.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah. I
Cool.
don't,
So
Yeah, no. I'm not hating
But
on it. I'm
like,
just it's
this is weird
it's
in this
impressive.
place or whatever.
yeah,
like,
it's impressive what he does, especially
Okay.
with him standing right next to Cersei and calling
Yeah,
calling Joffrey
yeah.
a shit king.
I also like
go
that
ahead, Abby, sorry.
he says a wise king knows what he knows and what he doesn't. That is probably my favorite line of at least this scene, because it's true and you can bring it into your own life. If you can just admit, like, I need help, and you look for advisors who are skilled and you surround yourself with those skilled advisors, you become great yourself.
Yeah.
So I just thought, wow, like, what a great entrance. I think I might like King Tommen. We'll have to see, but I think I might like him.
He's at least malleable and is listening. And
Yeah.
I mean that in a good way, a productive way. He's curious and he wants to do a good job, and he's
He's-
not oppressive by nature.
Yeah, and again, that's another
Coachable.
Yes,
tactful
coachable.
thing that Tywin does, getting that in
Mhm.
early. It's kind of like for us, or we have a customer or something, and you're like, and you're a brand new customer to us. This is how we want you to handle us, and how we want to do your service for you. So this is the way we're going to do it. Instead of letting them them kind of figure it out along the way.
I feel like, working women in certain industries have that same thing. They want you to work with them, and they have to coach you along a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, if you
Coachable.
want the
best
job,
Coachable.
yes,
That's one of my stick.
but you have to set it in early, like early in the discussion. You have to make sure to get that pushed in properly.
Tywin is
To get it
pushed
pushed
in.
in.
Yep.
You gotta push it in.
Anyway, speaking about Tywin, my only real note on this was Dan's class is in session.
Yes.
It's dance class.
It's
so
dance class. It's dance time.
I have the floor.
and then I referenced a good king, a wise king knows what he knows and knows what he doesn't. It's just a great line, and I completely agree with what Abby was getting at. Of if you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, it's going to raise you up. I mean, you're kind of the accumulation of the closest people around you. So hopefully,
Yeah, and especially until
thank you guys for raising me up a bit.
Yeah,
A little
they
bit
listen
rub
to
off on me, some of the knowledge.
Was that Josh Groban?
yeah.
That was a little bit of
Groban
a
likes
Josh
his ladies to
Groban.
pop.
So
Everybody.
the other quick thing I thought of when we were going through this scene was, so they talk about Orys as a king who isn't a Targaryen king. This came out mid-early 2014. The World Book, A World of Ice and Fire, came out in October of 2014. So I'm going to be a little bit easier on them for this season on making up things from history, because they didn't have that text, that companion text at least, where it really opens a lot of it up. So
just kind of guessed or
after this, go time though. They better do their fucking
Games on.
research.
Do your due diligence.
Do your duty.
Yeah.
Go on. Do your duty.
My last thing with it, kind of going along, the wise king, listens and heeds to his counsel, especially until he comes of age. And then after, makes sure to point out, even though your brother just came of age, he still wasn't wise. So, all right, we're going to move on. Still in King's Landing. There was a lot of King's Landing this episode. Illyria, Oberyn, some Whores, and Tywin. Oberyn discusses preferences and pleasures. Tywin talks of judgments and justice. We'll start with Luke.
So Oberyn here is clearly playing both sides of the sexual fence. And he kind of describes why he's that way. And he says, when it comes to war, I fight for Dorne. When it comes to love, I don't choose sides. And it's just nice to see a character that's, this progressive and open, kind of displaying how Dorne is with equal opportunity on everything, gender rights, all of that. They're very, very forward thinking. And he takes it that further step of, I just love people. I love beauty.
And that's the same discussion where he's like, why would I limit myself to only half of the pleasures?
Yeah.
I see this and it excites me.
And I look at this and it excites me.
It grabs his
I want to
ass.
say this is the third episode. So we're episode 3, maybe minute 10 at this point.
You want to say that, or you're going to say that?
I'm going to say about 10 minutes into the episode-ish, right? I've seen this guy probably on screen.
He's been
23 minutes total.
Oh,
though, ever.
That's that's a bit over.
It's probably a little high, but
I'm giving you
Yeah,
the
yeah.
benefit of the doubt.
That's-
Tops 23 minutes. This dude, to me, he is fierce. He's somebody that he commands respect, strength. You can see in some scenes coming up, Tywin, his manner towards him, and yet he's a bisexual. I just love that in modern TV, this man of power and strength is represented as such a badass without some.
They don't feminize him as being bisexual.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He's
Not
not,
even
at all
Renly
that
or-
Right.
that
And
stereotypical.
Renly and Loras, they've done that a bit.
Which
they soften him up to kind of
is such
show
a
that.
disservice, I think, to that whole community. I can't,
The LGBTQIA plus community, that is.
ABC.
Is that the correct?
That
is.
is
Man,
the
that was impressive.
accepted vernacular currently. The plus is for other communities that fall under that haven't been established.
That's
Stuff that
fine.
they
I
haven't
just like
named.
that there's some representation where they're not this
Representation to be named later.
It's like saying etc.
It is, though,
cetera,
but
et cetera.
it's trying to be open to future things
that
that
we think of.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I like it.
Up right now.
Sorry, that's my only note.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, that's fair. Glenn, I'll let you go with yours because I'm gonna ask a question on it. So
Okay. Yeah. I found it interesting. In the scene, we learned that Oberyn studied poisons at the Citadel, and kind of Tywin calls him out on that. my grandson just died by a poison. You studied poisons.
You just got here.
Let's connect the dots.
Everyone knows that you don't like our family. Like,
Right.
Yeah. And even Oberyn's like, calls him out saying, yeah, he died by poison. And they're he wasn't choking.
you studied poison. This is how I know.
This is how I know.
Yeah.
But otherwise I had second Macumba reference.
Yeah.
And now I've heard that again in other forums and stuff, and I have no idea.
Okay, Abby, do you recognize Macumber? Well, they didn't say the name, but do you recognize? We've talked about it.
Actually, yeah, they said the
blue eye of a giant.
Yeah, in the sky.
Oh, so like that's what some people think that
we
the
all
sky
live
is
in the
blue because
Yeah.
yes.
So that is the giant's name is Macumber
Okay.
or Macumba. I can't.
It's
Okay.
it's Macumber, but I think
Macumber,
The Britishisms of Roy
was it
Dotrice.
like in season 1 or 2? Rob
talks
talks about it.
Old Nan's
The way he
stories.
says it sounded like
Macumba.
Macumba.
But okay,
Oh, yeah,
but now
Macumba.
that's the thing. Macumber's never mentioned in the show.
Yeah, with the Rob scene. Rob
I don't-
talking to Bran.
The name Macumber.
He does.
He does.
He says
Yeah,
it.
he
Okay.
says
Again,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
going off a note that I found
Oberyn
in.
doesn't.
Oberyn doesn't.
Okay.
Rob does.
Rob does. Okay, that's fair. Because I'm going off a note that I found on Reddit and everything. I was like, and then I saw Glenn's note. I'm like, son of a bitch.
It's like the first scene that Rob goes to see Bran after Kat leaves.
Yeah.
and that's fair. I just
basically
don't
old
re-
Nan used to tell him stories.
Yeah.
About that.
She's in there knitting and he's in bed and
Gotcha.
Rob
And-
kicks her out. Yep.
By book or show, Macumber doesn't sound familiar to me. That's an overgloss one that always hits.
It's Glenn's favorite character, so
That's fair.
They're going to do a prequel. I think
a
about it.
Macumber show.
They better. Lastly, this kind of confirms the fact that Stannis is not on their radar because I think Tywin points out that like, hey, we got a couple different threats. I think he mentions the Greyjoy rebellion, Dany, and then the wildlings.
Yeah.
Are marching south. So Stannis is not mentioned at all. So I think they believe that he was beaten at the Battle of the Blackwater, and he's
Just no longer a threat.
not a threat right now.
And my note on this was this was an interesting scene. You can tell Oberyn doesn't want to trust Tywin, but he's intrigued at the lengths and the concessions that Tywin's offering up. I'm gonna give you a seat in the council. I'm gonna let you judge my son. I'm gonna let you talk to the mountain and figure this out. And
I
so
think he's going to let him do more than that. I
Well-
think he's pretty clear that I'm going to let you have your vengeance on him.
he said, "I'll let you have that conversation."
Well, that was
and
in-
that's what I'm saying. Is
That was in response that because he said, "Well, Marjorie, you said the same things about the Tyrells or whatever. That now they're your strongest ally. Well, you gave her the seat of the queen or whatever. Like it's not enticing for me."
Yeah, but he's making
Enough,
it pretty
like,
enticing
yeah,
to
kinda-
keep him in check. And I think this is a newly figured out plan on Tywin's part, especially with Joffrey out the way. He knew he could probably bring in the Dornishmen to sit on the council, and this way he keeps the Viper in check, compared to because now if Doran, his brother, Prince Doran, had been the one that came, I don't think this would have been offered up entirely as quickly or as depthly.
He has to appease the more aggressive side of this, for
Exactly.
sure.
But it's going to be an interesting series to watch, like with these two.
Yeah, I like that Tywin did go through and kind of make some concessions and kind of try to get him on his side. And even Oberyn's questioning, well, why would you want me to be, this close and everything? But, he goes on, well, Dany, the Targaryen girl has 3 dragons.
Yeah. And you see Oberyn perk up at that.
Yeah, and he basically said,
need us.
The Targaryens never conquered Dorne using dragons. Like, that's a pretty big ally to have in this case, if that were to, come to fruition. But I feel like Oberyn's actually kind of actually impressed by Tywin here a bit, and one on the concessions he's making, and also the candid approach. He's kind of leveling. He's just laying it on the table. It's well, it seems like Tywin is genuine here and isn't just blowing smoke just to try to get him on his good side, right? And I think Oberyn was not expecting that.
Yeah, not expecting it and kind of caught him off guard.
Exactly. Yeah.
So last scene in King's Landing, unless anybody has anything else on Tywin, Oberyn, and the Whores
And Macumber.
and
And Macumber. Always remember.
So we're going with
Never forget.
Tyrion and Pod in the dungeons. News of the trial, judges and his witnesses, and conspiracies get brought to Tyrion's attention. Glenn, I'll let you go with this one.
Oh, I can call my own witnesses. How generous of them. But, and then, so then he's, kind of going through his, list of friends, I guess, and Pod just, shuts all of that down. Basically, at every pass, each one, well, they can't do this. They can't do it because of A, B, or C. Yeah. It's just beginning to look like Tyrion's just kind of shit out of luck, for at least witnesses for this trial to be able to someone to back him or whatever.
Yeah, I like the line. I'd like to think if I arranged a royal assassination, I'd plan it in a way that I wouldn't be standing there gawking like a fucking fool. Which is a good point.
Right, make it obvious that look like I did it. You know?
I'm standing there literally holding the cup. Yeah, probably not the smartest thing.
Yeah, as he's pointing at me.
One note difference from here to book-wise I'll call out. Did Tyrion dump out the cup in the show?
Yeah.
At the wedding?
Yeah, he picks it up and he
Does
dumps
it-
it out.
He's kind of inspecting it a little bit.
I remember him inspecting. I remember him pouring it out. That's what I'm saying. Because I remember that was a big deal in the book-wise was he poured it out. I couldn't remember in the show if he had done that. So if you say yes,
I believe he
say,
did.
I don't know. I'm going to stick with I don't know. But that's fair.
I
Luke, go ahead with your note if you're ready.
Oh, what did I say here?
What
Flip
did you
back
say?
to it. So Pod, this is farewell. This is farewell, and there's never been there's never lived a more loyal squire.
And
Pretty
fuck if that's not the most emotional goodbye.
pretty touching, and because Pod's he hasn't learned a lot about being a knight from Tyrion, but he's learned a lot from Tyrion.
Yeah.
And it may seem like silly court stuff, but at the same time, he's picked it up, and he's potentially a skilled fighter. We don't know. I mean, he looks like he could be trained in that at
He
least.
can keep himself alive.
And we know he's, fairly witty. He's got some sharp, cleverness that Tyrion hones pretty well.
He's coachable.
He's as Abby would say, he's very coachable. That seems to be
That's a very
exactly what I'm getting
bad
at.
Well, I love
thing
how
to be.
he smuggled in fucking hard cheese, and he's like,
Candles.
they found the wine, but I got some candles and some hard cheese and some sausages. Again, from the back pockets, suspiciously like the middle of the back of the pants. Just, I don't know if you want that hard cheese there. Ab, you got a note on this scene?
Sure. Why is all the wine gone?
Why is the wine always gone?
God.
Dem wines.
Oh, wine
Honestly,
boy.
right now. So Luke has allowed me to start reading the first book.
Yeah.
And I am working through something right here, and I'm really not listening to any of you. I have a
great.
killer prediction number
Thank you.
4. That's all.
That's
Continue.
That's fair. We will move away from
Completely,
King's
absolutely
Landing.
true, and you will be mind blown, or it's so wrong you'll just laugh at me. But keep that to yourselves for now.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
so live chat. Don't spill any beans.
No beans.
Moral of the
to be
story: she's
spilled.
not listening to us at all.
Yeah.
Great for live stream.
So we're going to near Fair Market. That was going to be a question. I'm like, I'm just putting it in there. The Hound, Arya, a farmer, and daughter. The duo come across a kindly man, share his soup and bread, and leave him with a parting gift. Ab?
Well, this here again, I've already touched on it with the Sansa thing, about how those two scenes seem similar to me. Other than that, Arya with the quit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go, girl. I mean, she's a smart little cookie. She does not.
Cookie crisp.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She doesn't fail to impress. That's all. Like every time I see her, I'm just impressed.
Yeah. Glenn?
This land is your land. This land is my land.
Now in the round.
No, that's basically in reference to the farmer coming up and what are you guys doing? Like, this is my land, and Hound's like, I'm standing on it. This is my land. Yeah, it's just
Glenn, I got a country song for you. Ready for it?
sure.
The only land I own is sticking to my boots.
Sticking to my boots.
There you go.
There we go.
I thought you would appreciate that.
Yeah, I do.
Country lover over there.
Mr. Updown.
Mr. Up.
Yeah, Mr. Updown
If they
himself.
pass
Glenn
that
of
fifth
House
of Jack
Uptown.
around, it's going up, down, up, down, up,
Down.
down.
We're doing up downs.
Yeah, and then like the whole scene with it just
To
reminds
the mother,
me.
please.
Right.
To the father.
Do they have to do all 7 of the fuckers? Like, it just reminds me of saying grace. And it's just like somebody that took like forever to say the grace, and you just like wanted to eat, and like it's like, okay, let's go, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
My
And
kids think
to the
it's
and to the
Father,
strangers, so
Son,
please don't kill
Holy
us in our sleep.
Experiment.
Thanks.
It reminds me of a Super Ego podcast skit that they did where they're going around saying grace, and there's like a whole family and this guy's buddies there, and it's worth listening to. It's like their last episode they ever produced, and like the one kid, like he's like, I showed up hungry because I thought we were gonna be eating dinner like right away, and he's like, well, if you keep interrupting, we're gonna have to start grace over. So
It remind my
take it from the
kids.
top.
My kids think it's like this. Ready for it? Father, Son, Holy Experiment. Amen. Which is absolutely funny because of the science, religion, whatever.
Holy
but hey,
Experiment.
The
good
Holy
job,
Experiment.
guys. The Holy
Spectacles,
Experiment.
testicles, wallet, and watch.
There you go.
Yes. So,
All right, Luke.
I did like. I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead,
did
Deb.
like that in that scene. Just what we were talking about right there, where they went through each one. Like
Mhm.
what they pray to them for.
Yep.
It made me feel a little more in depth.
Because yeah,
with
I guess they haven't really explained.
never I've
show
only
wise.
heard it
So
at like the weddings.
the seven talking
The seven.
talking
Yeah.
about the seven. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do remember there's a scene book-wise that before this that is explained to Sam and Gilly. Sam explains to Gilly while they're north of the wall
Mhm.
in the book-wise. But yeah, show-wise, I think you're right. This is the first time
and
that
Sansa talks about him every once in a while in her monologues and things like that because she's learning about him with all of
I
her.
just like we pray to the
business.
maiden to like keep your purity or whatever. We pray to the smith or whatever he's
To keep our
I think
hands
that-
strong.
keep our hands strong. Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, the father to
Warrior,
give us,
protect us. Father, save us.
mother.
Yeah, I just-
Crone.
Crone is
Wisdom.
yeah.
and a stranger not to kill us in our sleep.
Sleep. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
died.
Uh,
Sorry, that's
Guess
what I really
right.
remembered.
Guess right don't mean much anymore. Yeah, that's pretty true. Seeing how we go through this scene, and
Yeah.
they'll both be dead come winter, and dead men don't need silver.
You're the worst shit in the Seven Kingdoms. There's plenty worse than me, and I understand the way things are. How many Starks they got to behead before you figure that fucking out?
Figure it out.
You know, and it's like, damn, Sander, I thought you were the one who got burned. You know,
Yeah.
He just
That-
sees
that-
it
that was-
so
yeah. I mean,
clear cut.
he does. It's the way it is. It's
To
there's
him,
no
there
there's
is
no
no
right.
gray.
Yeah, there's
It's
no right or
just-
wrong. Well, no, it's all gray. There's no right or wrong. It's survive. You know,
Well,
it's-
and I also
I guess-
think he
Well, he
thinks
doesn't do
no matter
cruelty.
what,
well, no,
I
but,
think is
He
what I
doesn't
was saying.
kill
Like,
like
he-
at the
he's
Red
not.
Wedding.
To him, it's all justifiable,
yeah.
aside from
Yeah.
cruelty.
it's like
Is kinda where
justified.
And I guess we're
I
kind
was
of saying
justified.
the same thing. It's there's no, you know, if he had to kill those guys last episode with Arya or with the chickens, you know, that was justified. Doesn't care. He just, you know, knocked this guy out, took his money, but it's what he has to do to survive.
I thought you said you weren't a thief.
But-
I wasn't.
I wasn't. He just made it too easy.
Yeah.
I also think
They're
he
weak.
feels very much like this dude. He's already told me if somebody comes by here and wants to, you know, steal my money, take my lands, whatever, they're going to because I'm not strong and I need you. So if I stay, sure, I can help him and that won't happen. But I'm not staying. So somebody's going to come by here
Might as
and
well
take,
be me.
take his money.
I'm fucked, right?
Anyways.
Yeah.
Might as well be me over the other guy who might be a real threat. So,
Fuck right.
I'm not a bro.
which is not, I'm not going to condone the way of thinking, but he's not wrong, I guess.
It's on the
He's-
border. It's like
It's
I can
where
see
your
how he
morals
justifies-
lie.
It's a dick move.
he's crossing the border of.
But if you,
It's
yeah,
wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong. If
It's-
you
it's
justify
wrong.
everything like that,
Well,
I
that
mean,
guy had to
somebody's
die.
gonna. Somebody's gonna eat this apple, so it might as well be me. But you just stole it. But somebody's gonna eat it anyway, so I might as well eat it.
If you
It's
try to
wrong.
justify everything, then there are no
Yes.
wrongs. I mean, it's
Exactly.
yeah. So I can see how he's justifying it to himself. Like I get
Yeah.
that it's not right,
Exactly.
and that's
I
where
like
where
that.
Arya's like, that's fucked up, bro. Like that's not right.
I-
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Like
And then-
that even after all her torture, she still is there. She's still, this isn't cool.
Yeah, because again, there's the easy way, the moral way, and the right way. You know, I mean, sometimes you have to give up some morals to get things done, but you don't have to go the easy route and be a dick and screw other people over, if that makes sense in
Right.
that terms. And she's in that. She's not. Her morals aren't quite all there anymore, but she's still.
She's questioning a lot of things, but
Yeah.
the core stuff
yeah,
is there.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right,
And then we see, you know, as Ara's waking up, there's the scream from the farmer's daughter, and we at this point we know that a punch had landed.
That was so funny in the subtitles. It just says like men arguing indiscriminately, and then it just says in parentheses, punch lands.
Punch landed.
Nice. See, I that's the problem. I lost my subscription. I can't do subtitles anymore.
It's so funny. Punch lands.
And it's a lot of
I
stuff
always-
like that.
Yeah.
I always like the musical, like upbeat music.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
my favorite. Like lively music.
But like now they
Haunting music.
now the one is they do say Reigns of Casimir playing. Like they
Yeah.
make
Yes.
it known.
At this point.
Yeah, at this point.
No, I think when Sansa was leaving, with Dantos earlier in the episode, it said bells tolling.
Bells
Yeah.
tolling, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Show that the king has died.
Metallica is for whom the bell tolls.
All right. Speaking of Metallica, we're moving up to Castle Black.
Speaking of Metallica,
We're moving up to Castle Black / Molestown. This one I kind of split up weirdly because of area, and we did one then the other. So, yeah, we're doing Castle Black, Molestown with Sam, Gilly, and LS. Little Sam.
okay.
Ellis.
Add it to the list. We did a
Ellis.
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 Yep, I'm making
Like
that change.
The island.
It's not let me do.
Just leave
I
it.
know.
And always write LS. I don't like that.
Ellis.
We can say Ellis.
I know.
Anyway.
All right.
Fuck is Ellis?
All right, I get through this because it's kind of a funny one. They pluck some dead ducks, and Sam's concerned about Gilly getting some unwanted fucks.
Okay.
Tried to get some Dr. Seuss in there. So,
It was Susical.
I'm gonna start with mine. I worry about you, Bevy. I mean, Gilly. A little Almarsh there, Sam. I mean, his wasn't as much, and again, shout out to our other podcast, but it was very much I worry.
That's the podcast that floats down here, Stephen King's It.
Yes.
For anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah, but he said it in a caring way. It wasn't a creepy. He's like, I worry about you. You know, it's you. You're surrounded by these assholes, and I know these assholes because they're my brothers.
That's not all they think about. That's all they
That's
think
all
about.
they think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ab, what was your thoughts on this?
I thought it was nice. I don't know. This whole situation is a little, it's new to me. I'm new here. So I don't think he's wrong worrying about her. That's
I'm
my
new.
favorite. I'm new here. I don't know. So he just
I have a.
it didn't come off creepy at all. I feel like at some point maybe this was
I'm new in
creepy. I don't
town,
really
and it
know.
gets
But
worse.
his concern is valid.
Yes. No.
He's in a
And
castle of lots of men, some rapers, people questionable morals, but
There's no secret.
rapers and murders and
I
thieves.
know
Oh
someone
my.
who's new in
Yes.
town.
but I don't know. It's nice. I like when Gilly looks at him and says, "Thank you for what?
Yeah.
Worrying about me."
No, I do kind of like the. Do you think of me that way?
Yeah,
You
she
know,
wants it.
she
Dude,
calls
that girl
him-
wants the D. Come on,
She wants that pink mask.
she wants that hot beef injection.
Come on, boys.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That takes me to my
H-
note.
HBIC. Come on.
It really doesn't, but it
Yeah,
somewhat
go ahead.
applies.
Yeah. No,
So there's a line: 100 men, 1 woman. That sounds like an awful porn.
just talk to Houston.
That sounds
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
Debbie does Dallas.
Man.
I was thinking the Houston 500 from late '90s. Howard Stern guest Houston porn star literally
Gotcha.
did a 500 man.
Oh,
Oh boy.
No.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
good for her.
I don't
All
think that's
I
what Gilly's
know-
looking for.
All I know is, again, we have references. I have no idea what we're talking about, but that's cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. So
So Glenn, how about your note?
Yeah, so 100. All these men lying awake at night, picturing Gilly. Sounds like an awful porn.
yours sounds even worse. Like the narrative of that, like 100 guys just lying awake. Like you're just watching these guys dreaming about it. Like they're-
and doing whatever they're doing.
if you want to watch that one, I'm not. gonna
It
pick
kind
either
of sounds like a
them.
Cops episode that I just watched.
Bad
Actually, it wasn't
boys, bad
Cops. It was
boys.
Live PD.
Live
Don't let me
PD.
lie to you.
Live PD.
Yeah, live PD. That's the new Cops.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
that
the
one's so
shit.
much better. Because it's live. All
Well,
right.
and then Cops. It just seemed like it was just so scripted almost, where they're gonna
almost
only
like
show-
setting up a
Yeah.
So all right, we're gonna.
Is
Don't
this on
ruin
live
my
PD?
dream.
Is this on live PD? I fucking hope so.
Luke,
Snake.
for those listening, Luke just mimed his handcuffed and walked away.
For the podcast listeners at home,
John Q podcast listener.
you podcast listener.
So, all right, we're sticking with Sam and Gilly. They're now down in Molestown with LS.
Holla.
Sam drops Gilly and the babe off a bit further south. I'll put my note out there for Sam's sake. I really wish he could understand his position. He's not wrong,
And I wish that she could
understand his position. I get where her mentality comes from is, oh, you're bored with me. You don't want me around, all this. And so she doesn't get or understand because she thinks, oh, Sam can protect me up here, up, and I can stay with him and all that. It's like, no, he can't, so he's really trying his best.
Yeah, to him, this is like the most reasonable option for sure.
So next, I'll leave it open. Glenn?
Sure. Yeah, it just looks like a very rough brothel. Like, you see like some of the brothels in King's Landing, like everybody's nice and clean.
Microfingers establishments.
Right.
They don't have meth teeth.
Yeah.
She was rough. That one talking to Gilly.
Like everyone just looks like beaten up and like their teeth are rotting and, but, I'm sure for a man at, the nice watch that comes, they probably look like 9s or 10s.
Yeah, it's better than Bill, the next room over.
Yeah. I mean, it's, in fairness, kind of the military aspect, or when there's a ton of guys around for that's, all that, and you have that one woman. It doesn't matter how ugly that one woman is. If she's all you've seen for 6 months, okay.
She's bumping a few points. It's the Rala effect.
Yeah.
The Rala effect.
Don't smile.
She's a Rala 8.
Oh, my Lord. That's terrible. I'm glad we went with Rala there than military wives, but that's perfect.
I wouldn't say military wives, just,
No, I didn't say wives. Those are called dependas, which means people who are dependents. But if you want to really piss us off, well, really not me, because I would just laugh if you called me this. They call them dependopotamuses, which makes me giggle really hard.
I like the dependa. It makes me think like a panda bear.
Yeah, that's what a dependa. Huh. They'd be like, you stupid dependa. I'm like,
Dependopotamus.
Stupendous.
Dependopotamus. Isn't that awful?
All right, have you got a note on this scene?
Yeah, I do. Ready for it? Buckle up. You guys are assholes for every Molestown comment you've ever made about me.
Can we narrow it down real quick? The only one who's ever made Molestown comments about Abby.
I made
who was pissed off right away? I was like, are you fucking kidding me with that
drink?
Top left, asshole. Bottom right, my boy.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh, I gotta go this way.
Yeah.
Boom.
Go towards the camera. How about that? Just
well, if we went this way.
Yeah.
See?
Damn. What about me? Am I just neutral in this one?
go ahead.
Blah, 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 blah. I gotta go like, this is so weird because these cameras are so crazy. Up and to the side. I don't know. Sorry.
We're working on it.
Anyways.
We're going to be the Brady Bunch soon. We're going to be able to do
This
this.
is like
But
the
no.
game I played, the app I
Well, no,
played
because
that
Ab, you had said I want to be from like the wall, like I want to be from up near the wall, and I go, oh, so from Molestown.
Yeah.
I just left
Well,
it at that.
No, I hadn't drank that much yet. It's bullshit.
Yeah, no, I
You
was
gotta,
like, are you fucking kidding me with that?
You gotta stop brushing your teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, way
No, I
too many
can't do
teeth.
that. Anyways, so the wall.
No, all the teeth were there. There's like green.
It was a little rough. That's all we'll go with there. I mean, it was rough.
I thought it was interesting that the brothel runner, whoever Sam was talking to, is like, I could put her to work, you know, and give you some of the cut, basically. And he was like, no, how about just room and board? Like, let's just go with it. He's
Leave it
like,
at that.
she'll do well. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's sad. The wildling has better hygiene than
Leave well
the
enough
the
alone.
free or than the
well, she's all these girls are working for the scum of the fucking earth. I mean,
Of the teeth.
literally convicted rapists. A lot
Scum
of
on
them.
the-
I mean, like
The
the
scum
word,
of the teeth.
the scum of the wall.
So you kind of wonder how many of them might
Because
have
this is
been
the
there.
worst people that who don't give a shit about their vows at the wall,
Well, yeah.
right? I
But
mean,
what I'm saying is, how many of these women come up here, like, say, Pip, or maybe not Pip, but I'm just using him as an example, had a girlfriend down in the South,
I got a girlfriend. Nice goose.
That's nice goose.
and brought her up with him, said, hey, why don't you come north? I'm getting sent up here. Meet me up here. And, she makes it to Molestown, and, hey, you can make some cash. We can, work some stuff
some
out.
quiche.
Because, I mean, like I
I
said,
don't
the work.
think most boyfriends like that arrangement.
But no,
ever.
but I'm
I don't
not.
think
okay,
a lot of girlfriends do. either.
But again, the worst scum of the earth. Think about the worst scum of the earth. You got your pimps and your
the entrepreneurial scum of the earth.
yeah.
Right.
Fair.
I mean, it's.
Fair.
I'm going to use because what woman in the right mind that didn't grow up in the fucking gift, would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to move there.
I'm gonna move. Yeah, it's
so-
like the opposite of Roz, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna lower my prospects.
Yeah.
Well, she's
I have
going to
a
be a sole
question.
source.
Does the Night's Watch get some type of payment, or is it just like room and board?
They
and
get life. That's it.
okay.
They get,
how do the people like we said Gren
Because-
or whoever?
Because the Night's Watch gives food and everything to the people in the gift. If you're living in the gift, you're getting food from the Night's Watch. So basically, you're living there for free.
So they're
It's-
not going there. Like if a Night's Watchman shows up in Molestown brothel, he's not going to show up with coin.
I don't think
is what
so.
I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
But
it's,
he's
if
from the
anything,
Night's
it's more
Watch.
barter
Yeah.
system.
Okay.
Like, we'll bring you some.
It's like prison. I mean, think of it like prison. Like,
Yeah.
you start trading smokes,
Here's-
right?
I
Here's a
will
loaf
trade
of
you a
bread.
smoke for a Twinkie. I got it. I've
It's-
watched 60 Days In.
Yeah, that or Shawshank Redemption.
Or,
How many packs?
Oh, crap.
Two
60
smokes.
Days In.
Two smokes.
Oz. Thank
It's
you.
e-cigarettes.
I was trying to think of the
now.
greatest
like,
prison show
Give me
of
some
all
juice.
time.
Looks like you're a man that knows how to get things.
I've been known to find
What?
something from time to time.
Why do they call you Red?
Ask,
But that's because I'm
Oh.
half Irish.
No, because I'm Irish. Just because I'm Irish. And that was a line just for the movie.
That's how I.
I didn't know.
That's
your
how I
grandma
like
was
my
Irish.
men.
He was-
Like,
pretty
or
sure
that's
in
how
the
I like
book
my
he was
coffee.
Irish.
Tall,
He just wasn't
strong,
black.
blonde, Irish.
All right.
reference.
So we're done with Sam and Gilly.
We can take a Jojen train.
Jojen.
Jojen!
Down to Dragon's.
Stop, Dragonstone.
Yep, we're at Dragonstone, and we have
Still trying to jump on that train.
we have Stannis and Davos. News of Giant Baby Pussy's demise reaches Dragonstone, and Davos defends his release of the bastard. Luke.
I'm running out of time, which means you're running out of time. Yeah, I don't know. This is a good Davos and Stannis scene, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Because Stannis is his back's against the wall. You know, we already know he doesn't have much, and Davos is doing a good job at what he can. There's just so little he can do, and Stannis knows it. And he's like, well, guess what? If it doesn't work out for me, it's not going to work out for you, so we have to come up with something new.
Exactly.
Something.
Glenn?
Right. And this is strike 2 in regards to them leeches.
Dem Leech.
Dem leech. Yeah, basically the second one to go down as far as the leeches that were thrown into the fire. So that's kind of like another like chink in the armor for Davos of, you know, hey, you really fucked that one up. Yeah. And then like Stannis, his legacy is hanging in the balance, like, and he mentions like, hey, I don't want to be a page in someone else's history book, like, and I think he realizes that everyone probably thinks that he's like done at this point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he got his ass kicked at
Blackwater.
the Blackwater.
Yeah.
He's not going to rebound.
And that kind of goes to your note of earlier with Tywin and
Right,
Oberyn just
exactly.
kind of glossing right
Right.
over him. He
Mhm.
thinks, that he's done, or he believes they think he is.
Dundee.
Yeah, he's not on the radar.
Yeah, you know, I like the line on it of "You're willing to use blood magic to win a kingdom and not pay for an army." That almost sounds,
And not pay your men.
yeah. Tywin-esque. With his line from season 3, episode 10, "Is it nobler to kill 10,000 in battle than a dozen at dinner?" It's very pragmatic. It's very, this is what you need to do. We're going. If you want to win the war, this is how we need to do it. You know, yeah, you want to use blood magic, fine. That might work, that might not. Why don't we just pay these guys? And that brings me to another question. If your liege lord says, "Hey, you're coming to battle," dude, I gotta get paid. I mean, even when a draft comes, with the U.S. military back in the day, they still got some sort of compensation.
Well, where does power lie? That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Well, it seemed like he was
Shadow
almost disgusted whenever he said the Golden Company. He's like, they're sellswords. Like,
And
are you
again,
kidding me?
And I get where he's coming because it's not honorable to sell your sword like that, as opposed to fighting for in his view, a just cause. Like he's owed this.
They've never broken a contract.
Good point.
Ab,
No idea. Sorry.
Still theorizing over there. I can see the wires going, connective tissue.
She's still on the Jojen train, I think.
She got locked on the Jojen train.
I didn't get aborted, actually, is what
We-
happened.
we
I
left her
was
back
running
at the wall.
alongside, and you guys all jumped on.
This
and I
time we
tried
did
to
leave
jump
her
your
at
arms.
Molestown, unfortunately.
Yep. Damn it.
she'll survive.
Sorry.
All right, so but no thoughts on the scene.
I don't even know what scene
We're on Stannis and Davos talking at the map room.
I like Davos. No thoughts. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. We're sticking with Dragonstone with Davos and Shireen. They discuss the differences between pirating and smuggling, and Bravos and their bankers. If you're a famous smuggler, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
Ab, thoughts on Davos and Shireen?
I did think that line you just said right there was absolutely hilarious because, yes, you do not want to be known. I also thought it was, I don't really know what we're writing at this point, I guess, but he wants her to write a
The
letter.
note. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which, okay.
Somebody smart has to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody
this,
smart.
This letter is too important for me. I need someone smart to write it.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, what the letter he's writing to the Bank of Bravos,
Iron Bank of
the
Bravos.
Iron Bank of Bravos.
In
Right.
Stannis' name. And
Yeah.
she calls him
Right.
out on it. And she's
Well, that's
like,
what
that's not you. And he's
you're
like,
not.
this is pretty fucking important.
Yeah,
Like,
and in fairness,
Yes.
he speaks with the with the king's tongue. He's
Yeah.
allowed to speak in his name because he's the
Right.
hand of the king.
He
So
has the right to do it.
he's supposed to offer that,
But we don't
from the
know
hand of the
what
king.
the letter is going to say. We should-
correct.
right, like we
But
don't
we know what their
what
problems
it,
are.
yeah,
Right.
we can infer.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
We can surmise. I
Glenn?
think that's the right word.
It is. It is. There are a lot of synonyms here.
Yes.
The first sword of Bravos. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was solid
Was it?
Davosian
Davos.
Davos. I'm very versed in Devosian.
I speak Devosian.
I think
Which is
Glenn
just
should
gibberish.
be like a voice.
Especially with the right hand. You know,
All right,
because
Glenn's gonna go into voice acting now.
it's a little
He
tougher.
should.
All right,
should.
you find
I
your
should-
calling. Abby finally figured out what you need to do with your life.
There we go.
Now you figure out what I need to do with mine. We'll call ourselves even. Boom.
Yeah, Luke.
It kind of goes right along with the discussion of piracy versus smuggle bunnies, and your father lacks a certain appreciation for the finer points of bad behavior.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a good line that I think Shireen knows that.
Yeah.
Just very Devosian,
Very Devosian.
quite Devosian.
All right. So if nobody got anything else, we're going to jump into a quick. What? No, not quite.
Jojen to the promo.
Jojen to the promo.
Jojen promo.
Quick promo. For our thepodcast.com/support us. You can go there. You can hook up with our with our Amazon affiliate link. Basically, click on that. Buy anything you want, and you can give us a little. It gives us a little kickback that helps us out with just keeping the beer in the fridge. But also, you can, when you're on the support us
Jojen's-
page,
the
you can
Jojen
check out
train,
our
right?
Micro Fingers Flea Bottom Emporium, which has suggestions that we came up with of different Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire inspired artwork, bottles, whatever is on there. It's been a while since I
A lot of
checked it.
Funko Pops.
A lot of Funko Pops.
A lot of wall hanging art.
You
Things
click
like
on
that.
click on those. We get an extra little bonus if you buy one of those. But if you come across any cool ideas too, send us an email with a link on it. We'll add that. And hey, awesome!
So come on down for a bowl of brown.
Exactly.
You might even make a friend. That is, if you're paying, of course.
All right, so we're gonna move up back to the gift. Egret, Tormund, Stir, and some villagers. Egret aerates a father, and Stir sends a message to the crows. My note, I'm gonna start.
Air raids.
You put holes in it, it aerates it.
Yeah. I didn't read that earlier.
Technically correct.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready for that.
So my note first is fuck that kid is going to have some issues.
Fuck that kid, or fuck, comma.
Comma.
That kid
Oh.
is gonna
I'm leaving that.
ambiguous.
The kid's gonna have
Ambiguous.
issues because of
Fuck that
why.
kid is gonna have some issues.
Fuck, comma. That kid's gonna have some issues.
Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, exactly. So go ahead, Glenn.
This scene, because we're going to like a different, like a little town or village or whatever, and it just kind of reminded me of like the Shire.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that like there's hobbits and stuff like living in there, but it's just kind of like the green, I guess,
Mhm.
and like the water flowing and stuff like that. And I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of that. And then all hell breaks loose. They're going to use Mama and Papa to make a nice stir fry.
I like that.
That's one of the more disturbing lines, right?
First, I'm gonna eat your mama, then I'm gonna eat your papa. So you know the way to the wall. Tell them we're coming. Run.
Yeah. That's.
And then you just see him running.
Are those your parents? I'm going to eat them.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Well, I will say back to your comments. my husband
Commitments.
did a paper. Did a paper lately, and then Luke proofread it apparently in his presence. And this is the description I got. Well, Luke came down and proofread my paper, and he added a whole shit ton of commas, and then I got 100%. So,
Just add commas.
Just add commas. Yes. Yep.
Because
So
when you're
that's all I'm
speaking,
saying.
natural speech is littered with commas.
Yep.
Yes.
Read
So,
J.K.
yes,
Rowling.
commas.
Littered with commas.
Yeah. Especially the, what is it, not imperial comma, is it the Harvard comma?
Oxford
comma.
comma.
Yeah.
For lists.
There you go.
Yes.
Anyways,
Long live, I believe.
one, I think, so like the after show of this kind of goes into these scenes, or like the whatever it is, take a look at the episode or whatever.
Inside,
And they talk
inside
about-
the episode.
Okay, so
you
they
get to
talk
watch
about like,
those? We don't
I
have
do,
those.
I
guess
do.
we could probably find them on the Blu-ray. But
So-
What, inside the episode?
it's on there.
Pretty sure we have. Yeah.
So afterwards, they're talking about like the Thens and how they are like the worst of the worst. Like we have the wildlings who are all like wild and, scary kind of, but of the scariness, this is the worst of the worst. And even the other wildlings are kind of like, oh shit. It kind of reminds me of like the Berserk or like
Yeah.
the,
Mm-hmm.
just that like extra oomph.
Yeah, because you weren't here for episode 1, and episode 1's where Tormund's like,
Yes.
Thens. I fucking hate Thens.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and in this scene, and we've seen this before, where these are raiders, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the
Yes.
wildlings are, and Tormund's a pretty ferocious fucking guy.
Yeah.
And
They
even
really
he's
do
like, these guys are just fucking
remind me
disgusting.
of almost the Vikings, like
Mhm.
go in, raid, take. But this is that extra level that is beyond even their moral code.
The extra step of cooking arms and shit like that.
Yes.
And
So
over direct heat, god damn it.
I was
Offset.
almost
Offset.
No.
surprised to see Ygritte
Chard.
like fighting alongside them. That's where I was like, how? Yes, she's a wildling. Yes, she's tough as shit. And Tormund even too. Like, and I get that they have this common cause, but to sit there and watch that day to day, I would assume it has to be rough. Like to just give away to your own moral code and be like, you know what, we're gonna let that go for now, and because we have this common goal. It just surprises me that we're watching them with this group.
Well, it's for the greater good for them, right? Even the
Yes.
worst of them are still fighting for the same reasons, and
Yes.
they can't say no to the numbers. That's where they're at. So,
Sometimes it's those hard choices.
yep.
Hard truths.
And Mance has made that choice for them, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna move on up to Castle Black. The kid, unnamed villager kid, made his way there, and also with John, Thorn, Pip, Gren, Ed, and the Brothers of the Night's Watch, and Slint. Slint was there as well. The villager kid,
Janus slit.
the villager kid gives the warning to the south. Ed and Gren return from Craster's, and John realizes they need to silence the betrayers. I'll go with Abby on this one.
There's a lot going on in this scene. There just was. And my biggest thoughts are with Ed and Gren coming back. I kind of forgot that John was off with the wildlings while Craster happened.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. Like, I
Yep.
just kind
No,
of
that's
forgot
fair.
that he wasn't there with them during all that. And to come back and say, like, look, our brothers did this to the commander-in-chief, right? Or not commander, right? Lord Commander.
Yeah. Yep.
Mormont, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Old Bear.
Your.
I mean, where the hell do you go with this? And I'm not sure. Let me scroll down a little bit. You're at the bottom here on my screen. Okay, cool. I agree with John. He made a very, very good call on his final say or whatever when they asked him.
Gotcha. Like his impassioned speech, kind of thing. Glenn, I think that kind of ties into what you have.
Yeah, but John just definitely had an oh shit moment when he realizes that there's those mutineers at Craster's Keep, and he told Mance that they have 1,000 men at Castle Black. Well, if they get to the mutineers and
They'll sell 'em out.
they'll sell them out,
Peeling their fingernails off.
right? And he's like,
And this thing, they won't even need to do that. I think Mutineers be like, no, fuck it. There's 100 men there.
We'll fight with you. Fuck.
right?
Yeah.
And he says like, Mance has everything he needs to defeat us. He just doesn't know it yet. Like,
Mhm.
and it's just a different fight when you're thinking we're going up against 1,000. Now it's 100. That's like easy pickings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slim pickings, if you will.
slim pickings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that, John's like, it's not just about justice here for those mutineers. It's way bigger than that because we're gonna be fucked. Like, we're fucked, right? We're gonna be fucked real quick.
Yeah.
And I believe it's Ed that says girls never thought they'd miss their daddy. For Craster. And then Pip was like, John's talking about how even if each of us kills 100 men, we're still gonna have a tough time with that.
That's 10,000 of 100.
And Pip is like, I don't think I can kill 1,000 men.
Yeah,
100
or 100 men. Yeah. But it was just funny. He was just like, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
So, now I have 100 in me.
Not anymore, boys.
Because I hadn't realized that Gren and Pip or Gren and Ed were still chained up because they're not focused on the show, and so I never really realized. I knew because watching later on, I knew they survived, but I forgot about the scene. But how did they get out of the chains? That's the scene I want to see.
Breaker of chains.
They're pretty cut up, but it's like,
put it on the list.
There we go. Boom.
Need to find that spot. You literally just broke the fourth wall.
But that's the scene I want to see is like a flashback.
If we had planned that, it would not have been that good.
No. So, all right. Anything else on Castle Black, the North, the Gift, Molestown, up that way?
It's nice to have the group all back together.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
The Molestown group, all the whores with
Molestown kids.
Molestown kids.
Molestown kids with their pumped up.
Okay, so the group you're talking about, like Gren,
Pip, Sam,
John,
Ed, kind of that whole recruit class is all back at the wall now.
Class of
wall classes.
Class of 290. Well, you were close, 298 or 299.
No, it's like 300.
Is it
301?
Oh, okay.
No,
Whatevs.
300 was with
It was just
the
like a
Spartans.
random year I threw out.
Leonidas? Yeah. This is Sparta.
Leonidas.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take the Jojen aircraft to Marine.
I have a question.
Yes, Ab.
We can't. It's just our thing on YouTube that says we will be by shortly. Please stand by for me. Why?
Did you just start the video over?
No, it's been like this the whole night.
Oh no.
Mine's up.
No, it's live.
I don't know. It just says it.
Chat, let us know if it's not working.
Can you see me wave?
Hold on, I just refreshed it and it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! Now we're talking into my speakers.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Why did you
live.
do that?
We are live now.
So you just probably never hit play. You still have the chat, but you might.
No, I don't fucking know. Who knows? Sorry.
So, all right, we're in Marine. We have Danny and crew. And there's a reason why I listed it this way. The group arrives at the gates of Marine and are met by a single rider, Dari 2.0, stands in her honor and dispatches him quickly. So I had to put it that way because I wanted to get the Dari 2.0.
I appreciate the Dari 2.0 as his name.
Yes. I'm going to...
Most interesting man in the world, Dari 2.0.
Dari 2.0. So we have Danny, Jorah, Barristan, Missandei, Dari 2.0, and am I missing anybody?
I wasn't listening to you.
Grey
so.
Worm.
Everybody
and Grey
else.
Worm.
And everybody else.
Yeah, and everybody else. And the
Grey Worm.
Dothraki and Volantes and whoever else.
And guess who's not there? Strong Belwas. We'll leave that there. That's a book comment.
That's fine.
Q Strong Belwas, as Glenn would say.
Not there.
You're reading my note.
Glenn, yeah, go ahead with your note, Glenn.
You can read my note. I'll read yours.
Okay.
Glenn, you edited yours.
Yeah.
Damn it. But go ahead.
Dario is the most expendable person here.
Right.
Glenn, take it away.
Yeah, he is the most expendable.
I literally wrote that, and then I saw he had just written that.
Narrow C would say expandable.
Well,
That's what he had written too.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen
That's
that.
a narrow C joke.
Yeah.
It's actually me that said that initially.
He's the most.
Was it
he
really?
can expand, and that's his big power.
Well, that's why
He
Danny likes him.
expands.
One way or the
you don't
other.
know if he's expandable or not.
Danny wants to find out how expandable he is
Yeah.
in certain areas.
I liked horses are fast, horses are dumb, and that's true. But it's an intelligent move on his part, but underhanded to go after a defenseless animal. The animal knows
He threw it overhand.
shit move to go after the horse. I mean, because again, I'm fine. Strong Belwas did the same thing. Smart move.
No, it goes back to like Braun when he's like, you can fight dirty or whatever, and you'll win.
Guess what happens? It fucking works.
Yeah, and it does. It's it's one of those animal cruelty.
You don't
things
fight with honor. He did.
He's dead. Yeah,
very dead.
Don't fight with honor. No,
I didn't.
He did.
So, Ab, what's your note on the fight scene?
I have no note on the fight scene. Anyways, it was a great fight scene. It was absolutely epic, great, fantastic. Anyways, moving on.
Final scene.
No. Our episode 4.2, there was a comment about Dario 2.0, and I kind of politely laughed it off. I just want to put this out there for the fandom. I was like, oh, haha, sure, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fun.
Because I was drunk, and I still don't even know what I said because I was drunk. I don't remember, and I haven't listened through the episode completely yet.
It was
I'm just going to put it out there. I had absolutely no idea that this was
a completely different actor.
Same character. Different actor. My mind, I finally figured it out, and I was like, hold on, wait. What?
Was that from Sanrixian's artwork of showing the two different...
Well, driving somewhere in about the Kentucky mountains from St. Louis to North Carolina, I was listening to the episodes, and I couldn't see her drawings, which then I was like, now I gotta watch the YouTube video. I gotta watch this shit again, or listen to it again.
Definitely, if you are watching right now, go back and watch that episode 1 of season 4 YouTube
her
video.
Drawings, yeah.
Those were awesome. Yeah. Those were really cool.
So it was about 4 a.m, and I'm driving. All my passengers are sleeping, and I was like, well, what the fuck did they just say? Like, completely different actor. I was like, okay, things are making sense. I understand now. I thought this was just some random guy who was just acquired from some random slave state. I don't know.
This is the new Dario.
This is Dario.
This is Dari 2.0.
This is Dario.
Dari 2.0.
My mind was blown. Anyways, I just wanted to put that out there as I'm sorry about my stupid girl giggling. Sure. Comment of last episode. I prefer Dario 0.1, 4.1, 2.1, whatever he was. No.
Dario 1.0.
1.0.
Dari 1.0.
That's what I liked. Visually.
So, Dari screen.
You liked Legolas Dario.
Yes, I did. That hair.
And
man,
this scene,
fistful of that'll ride you all night long, right? Some comment like that.
Sure. Yeah.
This scene does, make it, he does it well. He has the swagger, but it's still a very humble, it's way more humbled attitude.
We'll see where it goes.
No, I'm saying that actor wise, he plays it way more humbled of, I was the last one in, I mean nothing to you. Let me
expandable.
Yeah, I'm the most expandable. So
I didn't get the same feeling.
From
this guy.
He wasn't
right
as cocky as
Speaking of cocky, he does the one guy pisses, and then he pisses after he kills that guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a diss.
Another,
it was a diss
or a
piss.
piss.
A diss piss.
Kind of wish they would have
be
kept.
honest.
Not gonna lie, the book version would have been a little better. Strong Belwas, do you know what he does? Because he's a eunuch.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh, Abby's off. So he's a eunuch. So he doesn't whip it out and piss. He pulls his shorts down and he takes a shit right on the rider. I would have loved to seen if they could have done that.
Just laid a log.
Yeah, laid a log. All right.
Logarithm.
How's algorithm?
Natty log.
All right. So we're going to the final scene, which is the same scene, but I cut it down. Final scene.
We have it that way. You wrote it up that way.
Yeah. Danny speaks to the slaves of Marine and sends them something from her summer BDSM collection.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna go with Glenn on this one.
Yeah, this is definitely like another example. This has happened like a couple times, and I don't know if we've like hit on it or not, but she's just like speaking to a big group in a big place. And she's not like ridiculously loud or anything like that, but it seems like everyone just like comprehends and can hear and stuff like that.
So the thing that you don't know is, like at the United Nations, how like they're speaking like their native tongue, and everyone has an earpiece in that with a translated version of that. Everyone in Essos has that, so she's just talking, and they all have these headsets.
No, it's not
they're,
UN
in sync on stage.
No, it's not UN style. It's Star Trek style. The pendant she wears just automatically translates so people can understand.
Well, yeah, but they still have to have the earpiece too.
Not in Star Trek. They talk and she comes.
Well, not in Star Trek, but in this, they have to have an earpiece.
Side of it, they're like a mile away.
Okay, fair enough. I know.
I don't know.
I agree.
They're far away. It's just like
but she's also in like a canyon, and so there's an echo.
Even so, like,
There's not.
I know.
No. Acoustics don't work that way.
I realize.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time where it's just like, even with like a lot of these men, like where it's like you're Jon Snow or whoever it is, like talking, and like even like Jimmy Ballgame in the back fucking rogue is hearing every word of it. No, like get the fuck out of here. Or like we've had a lot more of these large military type scenes with Dany. Like those are the ones like with the Unsullied where she's talking like, I'm freeing you, you're free man now. And it's just like, what? Say what?
speak louder.
It's like there's no way anyone's hearing that.
Yeah.
The front line gets it.
Yeah, I mean that was my point. It's not a big deal.
But I'm with you. Yeah, it's like that happens all the times for
Right.
cinematic simplicity.
Right. Just
So yeah, like
So like the Masters, like when they really just stand there when these catapults are rolling up, like they don't know what's loaded into them, obviously, but like because they already know they shot their arrows and
Yeah.
they came 10 feet short. There's a fucking catapult.
Yeah.
There's like 9 of them. They're not gonna sit
catapult.
on the wall and just like hang out still until they shoot. No, they see those roll up. They're getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
me
Like,
another beer.
instantly.
but if they don't know what catapults are,
Oh, they know.
I'm just
Everyone around here is constantly under siege.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
that's what they
fair.
do. They're used
not-
to Dothraki. I agree,
it's
but
not
at
their
the same
first
time,
catapult.
they wouldn't build walls without these kind of fucking things being around.
Yeah.
It's just like you see that roll up.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna hang out and watch the fire show.
Yeah.
Let's watch this. Let's see where this goes.
What is this contraption?
I really liked that she shot the chains that
Mhm.
all these other slaves
That had been
I
broken.
thought, what a great strategic move. Instead of coming in and killing you, like, look at, like, the fruits of my labor or whatever. And I loved the way she phrased, they were slaves here and now they stand behind me free. I do wish they, and I get that they were, like, logistically behind her, besides me. Because you don't ever want to be behind somebody. You
well,
want to
but they're
be
backing her
not
is
in-
kind
Yeah.
of the thing.
And they're following.
It's how I
It's
can justify that, I
just
guess.
think that I'm not going to argue like the semantics of it, but yes, they are following her. Like she's a good leader. And I do think that as humans, we do need that. We need a common cause. And if you can find that in a person you agree upon, great. But if she would, like, they stand beside me here as free men or free
Mhm.
people, it just would have made a little bit, I don't know. Her speech was, again, really great, given through her voice, which is commanding, but I think it's commanding to the audience because we've seen this. I mean, this is like the 4th or 5th time.
She's had
right?
several of these. Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want to like take anything away from this, but it's kind of like, okay, like where do we go from here? You're freeing all these people. And that's fantastic in the world that she's in. Like that is a fantastic cause. And she's freeing like city after city after city after place after whatever. When do we turn our eyes? Like when does the game change or
Mhm.
whatever?
Yep.
And do the people follow her? Like we just wanted to be free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Now,
it's a good question. Like,
wanna
what
go
does that turn into
conquer
for those people?
Westeros.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why do we care? We're free.
Right.
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
So
Good question.
my note on this was the facial reactions and everything of the Masters. They were pretty like hold back and like just like, oh shit, when they realized what's actually happening. And it reminded me of the line from a different series. Have you any idea how much tyrants fear the people they oppress? All of them realize that one day amongst their many victims there is sure to be one who will rise up and strike back. And that's the look they had. They're like, shit, our slaves just got empowered and there's more of them than there are of us, or whatever. And it's kind of along the lines of, we're fucked. Even that one guy they focused, like there was one guy looked kind of like the fucking guitar player.
Lenny Kravitz?
Thank you. Yep, looked like Lenny Kravitz.
Oh.
Yeah, the Lenny Kravitz looking dude.
But
Like,
he's got like a family with him, like and his wife.
yeah, but like his he was like kind of like listening to her, like okay. You can tell he was one of like the non-slaves, but he's like listening to her and like intently. But then when she starts what she's saying and then flings the stuff, he's just like, fuck, So it's gonna be interesting, and I just I like how well they blocked the scene and just like directed the visuals on it to make you feel for not feel for, but you felt how they were feeling as the masters, or
I also think you feel like as the slaves too, like what side do you take? Like if we all band together, we totally overrun it. She's given us this power, but what if it doesn't work? Like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
gosh,
or
it's
like what
such
if
a hard...
what if 10% of us don't do it?
Yeah.
Like everyone has to be all in. There's no
Or what if
there's
I'm
no
that
half
one
doing
part
this.
of the 10% that doesn't give in, and that part like wins out? I'm sitting high later on. It's just like it's just so difficult.
Mm-hmm. That's
And you
conquering.
feel all of
Yes,
that.
it is.
Like
That is it.
you feel all of it.
Yep. So, all right, that ends our recap for the episode. We're going to move on to episode title accuracy. Titled this episode was Breaker of Chains.
I thought it was Beaver of Chains.
Beaver? Oh shoot!
All right. Breaker of Dams.
Alice in Chains.
Alice of Chains.
I mean, I guess this is a title that works because Danny broke some chains and so did Gren and Pip. So, or Gren and Ed.
Multiple chains being broken.
Yeah, and she's showing that off. She's portraying herself as the liberator.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of her PR move right now. And it's makes a lot of sense. And Gren's showing that that's his PR move when he's showing like oh, look at my wrist. I broke the chains, man.
But I mean, it's kind of one of those again. It's kind of a common thing with this episode, with this season so far. At least with episode 1 and 3, where it's just one quick scene of like at least episode 2, Lion and the Rose. That was a half an hour of the episode, focused on the Lion and the Rose kind of thing. This one, it was one scene, so it works. It fits. But
again, I'm gonna try to make some stretches here. But like Tyrion is in chains. He's in prison. So it's more than just the reference to
The
chains
hypothetical
is
chain.
kind of what I'm going for, I guess.
And that makes. I mean, that's fair.
Hound and Arya, nothing.
No chains
Sam
there.
Gilly, no, not really.
Town is a chain, maybe.
Molestown is a chain,
That's an extra
chain
cost.
drag. I think that's about it. But we're in King. There's so many King's Landing scenes,
Yeah.
and there's so many titles that you can throw, like episode titles that you could throw at King's Landing. It
And
would
since
always
last-
be King's Landing if
and-
you're gonna go with shot time.
And you're right, because last episode was the King's Landing one, so
And we don't spend a whole lot of time with Danny, but she is a pretty big part. Like what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
seeing is still like
and it's
huge.
it's
and
the final
epic.
scene. It's the biggest step forward, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
kind of. I think
'Cause-
it's the largest move that happens. In
what
the
was
show, in this
episode 1? Let me pull this up really quick. I can't remember the title name. Sorry.
It was.
What the fuck is a Lami? Was her title.
Oh, it's all
What
hidden
the fuck
for
is
me.
The fuck is a lami?
Shit, we don't have the title up top.
Whoops.
That's all right. Two Swords.
Two
So
Swords.
it was a King's Landing,
And it was a short scene.
Yeah.
I mean, they talked about it a couple times, but
Well,
and
and
with
Arya,
Needle
yeah.
too. So
thing. But so okay, fair. And so this is the first Danny one. This one's This one actually it fits. It just I don't know. There was more that they could have worked with, but it works for the episode. So that's all I was saying. Just being such a short scene. So we're going to description accuracy. Tyrion ponders his options. Tywin extends an olive branch. Jon proposes a bold plan. The Hound teaches Arya the way things are.
The way things
It's actually kind of surprising they don't mention Danny in
at all.
the description. Yeah.
Well, she got the title.
she got the title.
She got the title, but I mean, still, you would think there might be something. A little
Danny is
blurb.
not in this
Wow.
episode at all. Even
While I was reading it, I was like, well, this is about as accurate as it has ever been.
I feel like all four of those essentially happen,
mean-
right?
They do. Like, it's just pretty much, don't even watch it. This is what happens.
Yeah, it wasn't worth watching. Just read the description.
Yeah.
Just read it.
Read the 4-line
you
description.
know now.
Save yourself 58 minutes.
Read the tweet. That's all you need.
Or I'm saying, yeah, hey, pulled that one on my ass. I said 58 minutes. It was 58 minutes.
There you go. I mean, you did read it earlier.
I did, but all right. So we're gonna go with our least favorite things of this episode. Glenn.
Yeah, basically, it's about Tyrion being Munson. Yeah, it just seems like he's up the river without a paddle. He's got the world in his hands, and he's gonna blow it. He's being Munsoned at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
Being months.
What did you say? He's getting Munsoned. It's like the guy who.
Kingpin reference.
Yes. Abby.
I So it's getting harder and harder for me to pick a least favorite thing in this. I think there's an obvious thing that's not comfortable. So I just said no Braun.
He was mentioned though, right?
He was not allowed to see Tyrion because he could be conspirator.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. He's
Luke,
a good
did you
guy.
come up with something? Okay. Yeah. So I'll let you.
No, go for it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, we had the same thing. It wasn't a rape scene or the rape scene in general, or whatever. It just the way it was done works for the show.
I feel like they can make it work on the show. It's the it really is knowing how fucking wrong it is for the story that we know.
Yeah.
And what it does to this potentially redemption arc that
Exactly.
Jamie's going through. Like
Jamie, like that whole thing. I
Yeah,
like
it just
totally
fucking
undercuts
Jamie.
it
that,
kills his
right?
whole season
it's
3.
like,
and-
oh, well, so he learned nothing, or like, and I guess like there is like
It's
that
a-
animal
it's a
instinct thing that,
relapse.
okay, finally, relapse. Like, but
even before
narratively,
this,
it's just
if he never raped us, it was always consensual. It was never he forced her, and
I think we've got evidence that they've been rough before, and maybe a little bit of RP, which is fine. But the way this is shot and the reaction that we know that came from the writers of the show,
yeah, the very cocky.
it was just
Yeah,
it was ill done.
Yes.
and it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. I think.
exactly. So, all right, we will go.
It's gotta be rape. It's fucking
It's
rape. I mean,
gotta
it's
be- yeah. There's no other.
I'm right behind you.
I think that,
that
you
sounds like a
guys
song I
have,
know.
I think you guys have way more obvious knowledge of going on, what this brings, or background, whatever. But to me, just watching the show, I haven't read up to this point. I've just read about 3/4 of the first book. I don't know this occurs in the books, whatever. It was a rape. It was not wanted. It was not asked for. It was not, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, this was a good idea. It just was a really hard thing for me to watch, and that's what I would have picked had I not looked at possibly Benji's notes and Luke's notes. It kills me for Jamie because he was that guy that I was I've turned around on him,
Yeah.
and now he just raped his sister. That's fucking crazy.
Oh, you're my
So-
sister.
Keep your hands off my sister.
Except for not the Joe.
No
dirt.
one fucks my sister but me.
Yeah, that is not on my Jojo train. That's for sure.
I think of the Luke Skywalker, Jamie Lannister. Keep your hands off my sister. Both missing the right hand.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love you. I know.
I know.
All right, we're going to the favorite thing. We'll go in the same order. Glenn, what was your favorite
Yeah,
thing?
I just like the wall stuff at the wall. And I remember watching this the first time, and I didn't really care for the stuff at the wall for whatever reason. But this time around, I guess I don't know what it is. I just like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've always enjoyed the stuff at the wall, but for some reason this time through, really getting into these characters, I'm caring about them more earlier
Right.
than I did. Just because you get to know them and you focus a little bit more. I'm with you. Yeah, good call.
No, agreed. Ab?
I'm gonna pick Tommen. I have so much hope for him as a king.
To men.
And it's really weird because he's that awful Lannister, right? He's the Reigns of Castamere, that
Well, we are-
enemy.
I mean,
But we already know
he's cousin Lannister.
Dem Rain.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's
Yes.
Well, he is his own
Dem
cousin.
Reigns.
He
Dem Reigns.
is his own cousin.
I
But
am
is
my
he his
own
own
grandpa.
grandpa?
Yeah. But, and in
Big
fairness,
joke.
we do know of one other good Lannister, or
Tyrion.
Tyrion, a slightly good.
Tyrion's a good Lannister.
So there's signs of good
and
Lannisters.
Tyrion even liked Tommen and Marcella. So I feel like
Marcella's
we've
probably
already
a good
been set up.
Lannister too.
We
Yeah,
haven't
We don't
had
know
much-
her. We
yeah,
just don't know her.
Yeah.
She's
She's
been gone.
sweet. The 3 scenes in the
Since
entire.
she's been gone.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So I just like the Tommen stuff, and not just the fact that we don't have Joffrey anymore,
Yeah.
but Tywin's. I never saw this with Joffrey. So Tywin went in with Joffrey as fine. You will be briefed. Fine, you will be whatever. Great, you are the king. You are right. Any man who says he is the king,
Yeah.
there's this.
king.
I am the dragon.
King Dragon.
I am the Dragon King.
There's a willingness to teach Tommen because of his just aura, who he is, that really excites me. Even if Tommen's not the rightful king, even if all these things, maybe he can be a good king. And he says that, I want to be a good king. I want to be a wise king. And maybe at some point he gets rid of fucking Tywin. And I love Tywin, but he's self-serving.
Yeah, that's
We'll
fair.
see.
And that is probably one of my more favorite scenes of this episode. I did go with one other different one because I saw your note. But with that, I like how Tommen was when Tywin was calling him out, saying what makes a good king, and Tywin right off holiness. You know, he's like, you have to be holy. You have to be just. You have to be strong. You know, and he's like answering truthfully how
trying.
Like he's trying. He's trying to be, and then he realizes you have to be wise. You know, you have to be smart, and so he's learning. He's coachable.
You have
know,
to be all of
you
them.
gotta
Yeah,
be cool.
coachable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, a
Yeah.
big part of that is he saw what Joffrey was. I mean, he grew up with Joffrey probably being cruel to him. We know that he tortured one of his cats at one
Yeah.
point, right?
Would
They
it-
mentioned that.
well,
Isn't
not
Tommen
sure.
the one who
Sure.
said, "Would you like that?" And Tommen says, "No, I wouldn't. Would you like to see Robb Stark's head on a side?" I don't know what it.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
What the-
yeah.
He says that. He's like, "No, I wouldn't."
That's
yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have the taste for cruelness.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Cruelty.
so my favorite part of this episode, it was a super sweet scene. There's never
The
been
rape scene, right? Super sweet.
Joffrey on the table. No, there's never lived a more loyal squire. That was just the best goodbye. Because it's like, this is farewell. But no one will ever top what you've done for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Pod realized that. He's like, thank you, my lord. You know, and it was one of those, it was just a good hearted scene that Pod needs that.
And Pod didn't want to leave. He was,
No.
and Tyrion was like, "Do not fucking die for me,
Because yeah,
that's the worst
because
thing you
Pod
can do."
called out, or he basically said they came to me and said they can make me Sir Podrick Payne if I testified against you that this and this and this. And Tyrion's like, he's like, so you're gonna do it?
It sounds good. Podrick Payne's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, and he was actually telling them, fucking do it. You know, testify against me, and Podrick's
You'll
like,
be safer.
You'll be safer. And Podrick's like, no, I'm not. And that's when Tyrion's like, you need to go. You need to
If
get
that's the case, get the fuck out.
Yeah, you know, thank you. You know, I appreciate it, but
Much love.
you know, but it was just it was a very powerful scene, and you could see the care and love between the two that really, you know, has gone. It's been obvious, but it's like understated.
You know, it's basically gone to Renly and Loras territory.
Hey, tripod the horde layer. You know, it's
I don't think it really has.
no. All right, Luke, finish this up.
My favorite scene here was Tywin and Oberyn. I feel like this is another one of those master dance classes of, just Charles Dance is incredible. And he's had so many great scenes with other great actors. And
Pedro
Pascal, he has been just kind of running the show, like kind of taking the show by storm.
Yeah.
This first, in 3 episodes, the first scene with him, it's hard not to see this guy is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is gonna be something. And this is the first one-on-one interaction we've had with these two, and it's if I was on the Blu-ray commentary, I would say they've just got such great chemistry, and that's
These
really
two
what
have
makes.
such
I
great
just,
chemistry.
as a writer, love writing for these actors specifically. No, but it's a really good scene. I like that Tywin is candid with Oberyn. He's like, I realize you hate me and you have probably pretty good reasons that I'm not going to admit, but we know what we know and we know what we don't know, and I know what you don't know and you know what I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good scene between those two.
Exactly. No, agreed. It was actually a very good episode overall. And again, the rape scene, you take that out, it's probably easily a good top 10 of episodes of just good actual scenes going on.
I really just hope that rape scene was driving things forward. And talking to you now, I feel like maybe it wasn't. I thought there was something coming from it. Maybe I just by design needed to not like it. I don't know. So.
Gotcha. So, if we're done with our favorite thing, we are going to move on to other podcasts. Glenn, would you mind telling us about the podcast that floats down here?
Yeah, so basically there is a podcast out there called Floats Down Here. It has some of our hosts for this show, Luke, Benji, Melissa's also in it. Basically, if you like it, read it, watch it, learn
we
about
came
it.
with a list of names of things that we talk about.
What you guys should do the fucking things then. Pennywise the Clown, Bill Denbrough, Stanley Uris, Beverly Marsh,
Never mind.
Mike Hanlon, Eddie Kasperbrack. Learn more at thepodcastthat.com.
Great job, Glenn.
We love you, Glenn.
Hey, great.
Go into voice acting.
So now we're going to go for my predictions.
Yeah, Abby, what do you got
First-
here?
Okay, so I have a convoluted write-up of what I got going on here. It's crazy. So I'm going to start with my number 2 prediction. It can be in number 1 because number 1, 2, 3, or 1, 3, and 4 all kind of run together. Anyways, number 2, Marjorie marries or attempts to marry Tommen.
Okay.
I think that's just on the list. It makes sense strategically for Tywin and Olenna. I just think that's how it's gonna go. I mean, age-wise, that's a little weird, but who knows? I don't know.
And sorry, I had to run and make water. What was your number 1?
I didn't pick because 1, 3, and 4 are all basically the same thing.
Okay.
I apologize about
No,
that.
no, that's fair. That's fair.
Not really. Never mind. 1 and 3 are the same. The necklace. We're talking about this necklace, right? That you guys were all so vague about.
From the neck.
Vagabond.
So we know that what's his name was involved, and Microfinger, the
Dantos.
funny guy, not
The
Dantos, yes.
the funny
The
whore.
fool.
not the,
The funny
funny whore,
fool.
the
fool.
whatever
The
he was
funny
called.
man.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah, the funny man.
Dantos and Microfinger involved. It was on Sansa's neck, and I had written down that maybe Varys, Tyrion through Varys somehow got to said he wanted to do this. I just cannot believe that Tyrion, these T names.
Big T.
Tyrion in any way had something to do with this. I do not think he did. So it leads me to believe that there's somebody else. I think Microfinger, Sansa's not involved. She was absolutely at least dumbstruck. She's talking to Microfinger who set
You could
this all
say
up.
she was a cat's paw.
Yeah. So who was sitting by them? I don't
This is your
know.
speculation.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
your
I
speculation.
mean, you.
I mean, do you want us to tell you what it was, or what our guesses
No,
are?
I'm just trying to think through this. I was trying so hard to make the speculation and say, okay, so Tyrion touched her necklace, grabbed one off. I can't make that. So I'm sorry, that speculation sucks.
Was
I don't even
Varys involved? You mentioned him. How about that?
Varys, yes.
Okay.
Varys was involved.
Okay.
Okay, so the necklace, fine. Varys was involved with the necklace. That's number 1. Marjorie marries Tommen's number 2. I had to write a couple more because. Oh, so I have number 3. Tyrion is twice the man of any other man in King's Landing. And if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
So you're saying Tyrion is innocent? Is your
Well, I'm saying he's
Or
going to
you're
be
saying
found.
he's O.J.
in the-
Simpson.
It won't be proved that he
Tyrion
was
No.
guilty.
and he's
I
going to
think-
prison for bank
so-
fraud. For
No.
for robbery
What I-
of
Bankruptcy fraud.
No, it was robbery of fucking memorabilia.
We're going to go with Varys was involved. That's a prediction. Tyrion, I don't think he was involved. But I do think that he will be found not guilty, let go somehow. He will continue on also. Maybe with this hanging over his head. I don't really know. But I don't think he's going to be found guilty. I don't personally think he had anything to do with it. Now, number 4. May I make a prediction because I've been reading the books?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is where...
This is where letting her
Okay.
read the book early backfires on
Right.
us.
So, in book 1, we get a lot of visual description of characters.
Okay.
They also talk about Jon's mother in book 1 and how Sansa had mentioned it once to her mother or somebody and then was never allowed to talk about it again. I don't really know. This lady who is named in the book and then is not named again, but she's named in the book and I can't remember the name. But anyway, she's described as having violet eyes.
Okay.
Dany is also described as having violet eyes.
Okay.
Jon and Dany are fucking related, and Ned is not the daddy. It's like a Maury show, okay? He's not the daddy.
And Daddy are fucking related.
And there's a couple of ways I can get
Ned
there
is not
because
the dad.
we also know that I want to know about Ned and Rhaegar's relationship prior to the whatever, because we know Rhaegar and Dany are siblings. And Oberyn's sister, I can't ever remember her name. I always call
Elia
her Oberyn's-
Martell.
Okay, Eliana.
Elia of
She is
Elia.
married to
Yelich.
She is
Elia.
married to Rhaegar, and Rhaegar is a known cheater.
Okay. I'm following.
A cheetah?
He is a cheetah.
So
we
if
know that.
Rhaegar had a child with somebody, it would make Jon Snow, or if that child was Jon Snow, it would make him a dragon.
So
or
you're
whatever.
saying that Rhaegar Targaryen is Jon's dad. That's
Possibly. I mean, I don't know, because he's a known cheater, and this is all coming out from reading book one,
Douchebag.
right out simultaneously from this Violet Eyes or whatever. And the biggest thing is like, oh, dark of hair, dark of eyes, dark of hair, dark
Hair
of
of
eyes.
gold.
The way
Lytle
yes.
Richie Baratheon,
And then
Jerry
it was
curl
like,
of hair.
oh wait,
All
that's
night long
not
of
his
hair.
kid. Like,
All night
it
long
just-
of hair.
It seems like if you have brown eyes and I have brown eyes, we're related. So, but yes, that's what I'm getting.
Okay, so the official
Danny and
speculation:
Rhaegar-
John and Danny are fucking
Are
related,
Fucking related.
and Ned
Yes.
is not the dad. Potentially Rhaegar.
Yes, because Oberyn is pissed that his brother-in-law or whatever cheated. I don't know, but I'm so confused. I'm very confused. I don't know.
Good. We like when you're
Because-
confused because then you have bullshit speculations.
Because if
and they're hilarious.
But if Oberyn is his dad, then why would he have violet eyes? Because the violet eyes would be the Targaryen line, unless Oberyn is fucking his sister who was dead. I don't know. That would be Dany. I'm so confused. I don't know.
Okay,
Who
good
is, like,
speculations. Good speculations.
All right.
This
Yep.
was fun.
And,
Lost.
and you're done. Until
Sorry.
next week. So,
No, those were
Yep,
fun.
yep.
I like them.
yeah.
Fun and stuff.
Excellent. So we're going to move on to our house name and such. We will just go down the line. Glenn, what is your information?
House name, Glen of House Dog.
on your business card?
House words, you miss 99% of the shots you don't take. House Sidge is a Spuds McKenz with a jersey on. House Ancestor, the Duff.
The Duff.
The
The
Duff.
Doof of Dunsandale.
Same guy. Personal Twitter at Popsicle Stand.
All right, I'm Slive House McLean. My house words are "It's dangerous to drink alone." My house sigil is 3 gold triangles and a field of red and black. My famous house ancestor is my great uncle John. He's the savior of winter celebrations. And you can find me on Twitter at Sly McLean.
I am Lucan of House Blackmead. Ours is the drink. We have an obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background. Our famous house ancestor is Ashmere Rivers. You'll learn more later about him. Personal Twitter at Luca Ferocious.
And I am Gertie of House Condescension. Our words are "We don't quit." My sigil is a field of white with a raven sitting atop an up-pointed black chevron. My famous ancestor is Casey Jones, and my personal Twitter is at GoHomeGertie. My final thought: good episode.
Nice final thought. None of us. We all forgot.
Sorry,
All right.
I was just.
I
reading
apologize
that
for
line.
doing it correctly.
So, become a Patreon to get access to our epilogue episode, which we will be discussing next for our live YouTube viewers, which is fuck.
Some guy. Some kid.
Beyond that,
That little kid.
if you want access
From the Shire.
if you want access to that, make sure you go to patreon.com/stayimaginary for all the ways you can help better keep our beer bank full. Check out thepodcastthat.com/support us. So, and anyway, as always, follow us on Twitter
At any rate.
at Know and Drink. Send us a digital raven at
We're
knowandrink@gmail.com.
also on Instagram now.
We're-
That's a new thing.
We are
We're-
on Instagram
Check
at,
us out tomorrow.
at
on
Know and
that.
Drink.
At Know and Drink.
Know and
yeah.
Drink. Excellent.
I don't know how to use Instagram, so we have
It's
one
super
though.
fun.
We'll figure it
Sure,
out.
sure.
We'll figure it out.
We're trying
We'll
to
do
get-
it live.
We're trying,
Fuck it, we'll do it
we're trying to
live.
get on Pornhub as
at
the
at
100
Know
I
and
cannot
at
100
Know
men,
and fuck.
one
That
woman.
one.
At Know and Fuck on Pornhub.
So subscribe, like, rate, and leave us comments on iTunes and YouTube. And until next time,
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
Ooh.
as always, winter is coming, and so am I.
And as always, fucking stay imaginary, folks.
Cheers, bitches.
How do you know this? That's what I
Winter's
do.
coming, comma.
I drink
So,
and I know things.
Winter is coming on Benji's face.
winter is coming, me too.